is something wrong with me because I think I don't love my child. Is this thing on?
The Pride family, what? The Pride family, what?
Savage
Pride family, what? The Pride family, what?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't worry about Marissa, that's in the back. She's just living her best life. Okay, so on today's video, it's the first video on the Motherhood Diaries series on my channel. So I'm just going to be talking to you about motherhood, the things that go on, just the real stuff. And I'm going to do it whilst I'm getting ready for content day. To start off this series, I'm going to talk about like life when you're pregnant. I'm going to just start off at the beginning, basically. In the beginning. So, let me just take it all in. So for me, like when I was pregnant, I was in shock, but I kind of like got over the shock a little bit, but I used to be really emotional. And I remember like listening to, it was the same time, you remember when the Homecoming came out, the Homecoming album? And I remember like I always used to listen to the Me, Myself and I like section of it, and I would cry. I'd literally just be in the kitchen cooking, listening, and then it came on and I'd just start crying, and I'd be like, me, myself and I, it's so good. Because like I literally just used to think like it's just me and myself, like that's all it is, that's all I've got. And it didn't matter that in the kitchen next to me whilst I was cooking was my brother and Tina, my sister-in-law. So I wasn't really alone, but you just feel alone in it, especially if you see yourself being a single mom. You're just thinking like, I'm alone in this, like I've got no one in my corner, like it's just me. So like going on into pregnancy as well. Right, so what was I saying? So when I was pregnant, I also used to cry a lot at night, because I used to feel like, why am I here like in bed alone? Why am I like, I used to be like, this is not how I pictured it. I don't know if other moms, that single moms, used to feel like this, like this is not how I pictured it. Like I pictured myself like everyone else, having their partner, being able to buy them like stuff for cravings and all this, and like, you know, if you have pain they'll help you out. Like I had this picture perfect thing in my head, and I was like, why do I not have this going on for me? So that used to really make me sad. But it's really funny because well and truly, where do I get this image of what is a perfect situation from anyway? Because I've not experienced it before. I've not been pregnant before. I've not been in a very solid relationship before. So it's like, it's just all a fantasy of what I thought would be in my life, and it didn't happen. And yeah, it used to be really hard. I'm glad that I had like a really great support system. I had great friends and everything, so that was helpful. My parents were very helpful as well, my siblings. They really helped me out in my time of need, so that was great. And then after the feelings of loneliness, like it kind of just, it doesn't disappear, it's still there, but it's not as prominent anymore. You kind of like tell yourself, listen, you need to suck it up and like just do this. You start being like some mega mom of like, okay, I need to get things done now. I need to focus. What steps am I going to take? What am I doing? Like I need to get this stuff done. Like, so yeah, that happened. And then just as I'm getting settled and telling myself, yep, I'm alone, but it's okay, like I've got this, that's when people start to pop up in your life again and disturb whatever you have going on that you've told yourself, you know, you're good, blah 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 blah. Anyway, that's what always happens when I tell you, men, like for some reason they have some kind of detector, and they will literally just pop up and say, hey, like I don't know what it is, they have some kind of detector system where it's like, okay, she is good now. Let me come up and say, hey, I understand everything, blah, 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 and be ready for everything. And then you think, okay, things are going to be different. Like, I am going to have that help from the other side. Anyway. But remember, these are my motherhood diaries. So, and if anything resonates with you, that's great. Moving on, now you come to labour. So pregnancy is quite hard alone. You have labour now. Labour. So for me, labour was a very big surprise because as some of you know, Lerato was premature. Just by a few weeks, which is not too, you know, not too life-threatening. I know a lot of other mothers who've had situations where it was just very early. So yeah, not too life-threatening. She still needed some help though. And that was like, oh my God, I'm skipping parts about pregnancy. I forgot to talk to you guys about when you're pregnant. So if, like, and you have to book in for midwife appointments. So I don't know about you lot, but sorry, my memory got full. I don't even know where I was. But I should have checked that before I left. Right, yeah, when you're doing your midwife appointment, yeah, they ask you questions. Like, they ask so much information about the dad, and sometimes I think that's really insensitive because you really feel like a whore. I felt so ashamed. They'd be asking you so many questions. Like, I think some of their questions are like, some of their questions I don't know. I feel like it's just, yeah, like they want to know gossip. Like they're just nosy. Some of the questions that they asked you, like, why do you need to know like all this information about the dad? Like, what difference will it make? Like, where the person's from, I understand that, because genealogy is good. But like the age and all this other stuff, and it's like, it's a lot of questions. And what if you're in a situation where you don't even know any of that kind of stuff? So I must say, like, that part of it for me was like, oh my God, I actually feel like the biggest because this is just too much for me. Like, I can't handle this every time you guys are asking me all the questions. So like, labor comes, let us was early, and again with the questions, like they need the questions, but I felt so rushed. Like, first of all, you guys know, like, I'm not gonna know every single piece of information, and like I feel like some people won't know everything. So especially, let's say you don't have really great communication. I was having to WhatsApp call after I just gave birth, and I'm on the bed like stressing out. My daughter is not with me, she's in an incubator, and I'm busy here like calling Tanzania trying to find out information. And if I can't get through, I'm busy calling my brother so that he can call him directly just to find out some bits of information. And I just thought that for me was like quite stressful actually, because I also felt like I was being judged. I don't know if it's me projecting or anything, but I did feel like quite judged. And also the doctor that kept asking me was African, so I think I felt like I felt him looking at me in shame. But again, that could be projection. Maybe it was my own self that was actually ashamed, and I keep saying like these things are like, you know. But no, the midwife one, I feel the midwife one I think is just a lot. The other one, okay, if you want to tell me I'm projecting, I'll accept that one. So yeah, that's what happened. The birth and everything. I mean, the birth, I think it is what it is at the end of the day. You already know you're going to go in there. In my situation, I knew I was going to go in there alone, so I kind of accepted that, and it was okay for me because I accepted that I wasn't going to have any partner with me, like as in who Leraso's dad is, but you know, my mom and my sister were there, so I was okay with that. And then you have, and actually labor was really difficult because I felt like the staff didn't listen to me. They didn't take it in, like what I was saying about the fact that I was meant to have an early epidural because of the way my body stature is. They kept saying like I wasn't in proper labour yet, in something labour, whatever it's called. And so they kept just denying me any type of pain relief. So I didn't have, they refused me gas and air or anything like that. They gave me cocodamol and that was it. So I was in a lot of pain. And they just kept ignoring me, really. Like, that story is just long for me. Like, it was just, that story makes you cry, because I just think they're just, yeah. Anyway, so now we move on to after my baby has been born. Guys, when I tell you, when I got home, I just felt like, wow. I felt like, wow. What do I do now? Like, what do I do? I've done courses, I've looked after kids, like, I know how to look after a child, but you get home and you're there, like, what now? Nothing, when I tell you, nothing felt the same. My parents' home that I've lived in for, what year is it? 15 years, started feeling foreign to me. I don't know what kind of chemical or what in my brain. I just felt like it was completely foreign. I got home and I was just like, no, it didn't feel like home to me anymore. It just felt really weird. I sat down with Lena and I just like, I didn't know what to do. Like, do I just sit here? It feels really wrong just sitting here and just, yeah, I just couldn't sit. I just felt like it felt wrong to just sit and be there in the moment. So I found that really weird as well. Like, why was I so worried about actually just sitting down? I used to feel like I had to be productive. Like, a mom can't sit there. I can't just sit, like, I just felt like I couldn't sit there. And I think another thing is, we kind of like, we forget that our body needs to heal. I think this whole thing of like a super mom, you come out of the hospital, you're amazing, you're great, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's how I felt. Like, I needed to like be perfect already, and you can't. Like, you just, it's your first time. One, you've literally given birth to a human being. Like, you've literally given birth to a human being, babe. It's okay to just rest. So, and when I tell you that your body is different, my body felt like I was fighting off a fever. I had to message my friend and say like, yo, is this normal? And she said, babe, when I gave birth, I felt like I had malaria. Like, I honestly was so, I felt so sick. So sick. So, oh, I'm using this. This is really good. I've never blended my foundation with a brush before. But, oh, not my foundation, my concealer. But the difference it makes, instead of a blending sponge, love it. I'm going to keep doing that. Where was I? So yeah, I just felt really lost, and I felt like I can't sit, I can't do this. My body is in pain, my body aches. I'm not recovering yet. Sleep, God help me. Yeah, that time was a really hard time. And the thing is, you keep telling yourself, don't worry, like, you're not gonna like die. Life is not gonna end at this moment. So I had to keep telling myself that, to tell myself that there's something positive coming out in the end. Like, this sleep is not going to be forever, that you're not sleeping, or that, you know, she's unsettled, especially when it comes to colic. 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 And I'm not going to lie, guys. For me, I use the Zimbabwean, because like gripe water, yeah. In England, it doesn't have certain things in it, but I use the Zimbabwean one. If you're Zimbabwean or South African, you know that anyone Southern Africa, you know the difference. I use that one. I'm not gonna say what's what, but yeah. And that really helped a lot because it really settled her a bit more. Whereas the other one, useless. Yeah, so that was really difficult for me, like that time. But like I said, I kept telling myself, you know what, it's not going to be just now. It's not going to be forever. It's just a period of life that's happening now. And that lasted for me for like 3 months, I think. After 3 months it settled and she stopped being so uncomfortable. I've tried everything that those people try. I tried on YouTube, you know, the massages that you do, like the exercises to try and get the air out. That didn't work. And that's the thing, not everything's gonna work. Like, you can try so many different remedies. For something that works for me, it might not work for you. So the gripe water might not work for you. It worked for me though, but it might not work for you. Just that exercises like that might work for your child, and you might not need like certain like medicines or whatever to help your child. And that's great because that worked for you, but it didn't work for me. So, whoo, space. Whoo. And the setting in between, this is a new thing for me. I'm just trying it out with you guys on camera right now, so that's really working for me. So yeah, that is that. Another thing that happened for me after Ledato was born. So I don't know if you guys have done this thing where you name your child a nickname when they're pregnant, because that's what I did. So Ledato had the nickname Dumpy. Or yeah, some people called it, my mom used to like saying Dumpy. It's Dumpling. And this bit is so, I don't know how to explain it, but I used to be really ashamed about this part, but anyway. So when Ledato was born, and I knew I was going to call her Ledato like for a long time, since as soon as, I always loved the name Ledato anyway. Like, if you don't know, I was born in South Africa. So yes, I'm Zimbabwean. Because my parents are Zimbabwean, but I've actually never lived in Zim. I came to England when I was 7, so I've lived in Zimbabwe. So I've never lived in Zim, but yeah, I'm Zimbabwean. So I've always loved the name Ledato because of where I grew up, and I have a cousin called Ledato, so some of my family is South African as well. Anyway, so I always knew my daughter would be named Ledato. So when the time came, I knew it was going to be her name. Now, when it came to now having to start calling her Ledato, that was really hard for me. It came to a point when we got home and I said to Chido, I said, is something wrong with me because I think I don't love my child? Like, I think I don't love her because the name was like, I wasn't used to calling her Ledato. I've been used to calling her Dumpling. So my love for her was attached to calling her Dumpling. So calling her Ledato felt so wrong. And I remember like going to do the certificate and thinking, oh, I don't know if I should do this now because I'm not so sure, like, because I'm not sure if I should, I'm not sure if she's Ledato, like, and I just did it anyway because of my anxiety. Like, I was like, oh no, just do it. Like, you have to do it. You've got this many days. Like, you just have to do it. So I kind of like made myself do it, basically. I'm gonna use this though. I should have done that. This is for my eyebrows. So I felt like I just had to do it. But I wasn't ready. I don't think I was truly ready to do the birth certificate yet. But I think if I didn't, I might have called her another name and that wouldn't have been good. Or she might have like stayed without a name for a long, long time. Well, no, because we still would have called her Ledato at home. But yeah, I felt like I didn't love her because of that. Something just like that made me feel I don't love my daughter simply because I wasn't associating her with that name yet. So I don't know what was happening in my brain. Yeah, so I literally felt like I don't love her, or do I love her, or I don't love her? Like, what's going on? I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't understand what was going on. So yeah, calling her Ledato, like, I just kept pushing myself to like call her that because I knew that was her name and that's what I wanted for her. But it was really hard for me because I felt like, oh, like maybe is she Ledato? Like, maybe I named her too soon and that's not her name, or I don't know. But the connection between her name and everything just made me feel really low because I felt, oh my god, something's wrong with me, I don't love my child. But obviously I did love her, I do love her. So that's something that went on that was quite hard for me to like get over. And I actually don't even think I've told my mom that's how I felt at the time. But yeah, that is definitely how I felt at the time. So I think, I know in the future I'm definitely not going to do any nicknames because it was really hard to come out of that slump of like thinking, oh no, I don't love her. And then like when you leave the hospital, they tell you that for 2 weeks you're most likely going to feel really low. So you're going to have, they call it the blues. And if it carries on for more, it's most likely postpartum. So I don't know why they call it the, I think they call it the blues because they don't want you to worry. Because I think everyone gets it at that point. But yeah, it's the same thing as postpartum, but it's just not as... But let me not say the same thing because I'm not a nurse, I'm not a medical. So yeah, but they call it the blues. So I definitely did get the blues. Mine didn't last like past 2 weeks. So I did not have, as what they classify as postpartum. But yeah, I definitely did have the blues. And I think the blues, so I don't know how to explain it, but I think you have it after you give birth. And it might not stay like, okay, it might not be just for 2 weeks. It might be on and off. But not as something as serious as postpartum, if that makes sense. For instance, I used to get really low. Oh, I think it's just low. I don't know. When... Where the hell's my brush? I used to get really low when I could see that my friends, especially my male friends, were like, they basically forgotten about me. One thing after you give birth is your friendships are definitely going to change. The people you were calling your friends before you give birth, not all of them survive me. Not all of them are going to be there afterwards. And that's okay. Like, it's just time in your journey to like start afresh and make new friends. And I think it was hard for me in the beginning because like I just didn't understand it. Like for me, I just thought like, why are they doing this? Like, why? And a lot of people, I think a lot of things as well with your friends, sorry, is that especially if you are their first friend that is dealing with this, they don't know themselves like how to deal with it. I had friends, for instance, who like I had friends who would like, you're not replying, you're not this, like what's going on? And I'd have to like say, hey, I don't have the time. Like I don't have the time. 2 weeks after, like not even 2 weeks, but like not even 2 weeks after, like you just don't have the time. Like your whole life has changed. And I think sometimes some friends use examples with other friends, and maybe the other friends had different help. But even people who might have help, like maybe a husband or something, or boyfriend or partner or whatever, girlfriend, non-binary, I don't know. They might have help. I don't have that help. Yes, I have my parents that are helping me, but I'm actually meant to do things on my own. Even more now that I don't live with my parents anymore. It's like, I do not have the help. I might not have the same time of the day as you guys to reply to messages and whatever. And the funny thing is, for a lot of people, even without children, messages can be overwhelming. So it's okay. I personally feel like I personally feel like you don't have to reply to messages like if you don't have the time to at the time. It's okay to take your time. Like, that's fine. Do that. Sometimes I think people need to realize, like, we are our own people. We need time. But yeah, I did not have the time, and so I think it was really hard for some of my friends to like understand that. But once I spoke to them, because I was actually really mad, I was like, what the hell? How can you be messaging me saying like all this? And I'm just thinking like, but you thought about other than your, it's like other things other than yourself, basically. But my other friend was like, no, speak to them and explain to them, like, you know, you're just really busy these days. Like, you've got a child, life is different. Maybe they don't know. And that's what it was. Friends just didn't know. And I think I'm quite stubborn in the sense of they should think them. Like, I'm so stubborn that I was like, nah, why should I explain that? Think for themselves. But they're like, no, Paida, tell them. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me tell them. So I called them and I was like, you know, my life has changed now. I have no time. I hardly sleep. Like, my child wakes up 4 times or more a night. I've got to nurse them. The day they sleep, and then I've got things during the day. So I've literally just given birth. Like, be 2 weeks, but that's still, you know, that's still fresh in my mind. So I had to explain that, and once I explained that, things were much better with that friend. But with the men, some of them I was like, but sometimes with your friends you have to explain like, Okay, fair enough. You guys think I'm busy now? Cool. Because this was not just 2 weeks, this was on. But at least give me the option to say no. I think that's something that's important sometimes with friends. Especially if you know that you used to do things with them, give them the option to say no. If you know that your friend is having a baby or is pregnant, don't just shut them out. Give them the option to say no. That is definitely something I'd recommend. So, in the end, I have lost some friends. Some friends I still have. Gang, gang, wait. Gang, gang. I'm very happy for that I still do have some of my friends. So yeah, that really helped me when it came to that. And I think I also had to talk to myself and tell myself, listen, your life has changed, so you need to change with it. Basically, it's not going to be the same. Let's be honest. People like to say your life's going to be the same. Don't worry, I'll get back to no. Your life is not going to be the same. Let's be realistic. Yes, eventually you'll get to go out and stuff, but it's not going to be the same. You can't just go out and be like, yeah, I'm going to go out. You need someone to look after your child, okay? Let's say you have no family. You're going to have to, for me personally, I would wait until my child's able to talk before I let them be looked after by the local babysitter. Because I'm not going to let anyone who's not family look after my child and they can't talk. So it's like your life's not going to be the same. Because when's that? 3, 4? So like, come on, let's be realistic. Like, understand when people saying like, you know, they feel like their life's changed. Tell them, yes, it has changed, but it's how you deal with it and how you adapt to it. So I kind of had to let myself know, listen, it's changed. You need to stop looking at your friends and thinking, oh, like, I wish I was going out. Well, you're not. And realistically, you're not going to be for a while. So you need to kind of like let that sink in, like let it sink in and try deal with it. Because I think glossing over it and saying it's going to change like later on, like it's not going to be the same. And even when you start going out, guys, I'm going to go into this next in the next Motherhood Diaries. We're going to talk about mommy guilt. But the guilt, the anxiety you feel, especially the first time, even with your parents looking after your child, and your parents looked after you, so you know they know how to look after a child, is a lot. Mommy guilt is mommy guilt is a big thing. So I'm just saying to you, like, it's better if you just accept it, that your life has changed. Just adapt to the change in your life. That is literally the only way to deal with life right now. Just adapt to your changes. And it will benefit you more than you ever know. So yeah, that is my first couple months journey, and then a few months afterwards, after giving birth. And you know, I'm trying to think of anything else that happened after birth as well. Right. Ooh, I think there's gonna be, we're gonna have a lot of things. So whilst I'm finishing this off, just the last bit of my lips, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna come up in the next episode of the series. So we're gonna have mommy guilt, which is a big thing. And when I talk to you about my experience with it, you guys are gonna be like, Paida, either gonna be like, Paida, you're just like me, or you're gonna be like, this girl's crazy. You overthink things. I think I overthink a lot. Like, my life has changed. Oh, okay, let me talk about this quickly. So after you give birth, you know how they talk about mommy lion? Yeah, that is real. The way I am so protective and more paranoid after I've had my child is absolutely crazy. Yesterday, there was a woman standing on the curb and we're just about to go where we live. And I thought to myself, women steal children. So why is this woman waiting here? I literally thought that, and then I was like to myself, no, Paida, realistically, when you stand on curbs like that, you're waiting for someone to pick you up. It's probably she's waiting for a lift. That's just the only place she can safely wait. But the way I was still looking behind me to make sure she wasn't following me in, waiting, or gonna mark the road to say, hey, a black child lives here or something, I don't know. was crazy. So yeah, like I feel like you end up being way more protective of your space. Like you just worry about who's around you all the time. Your guard is up a lot. Like I saw someone the same day, this woman, I saw someone working for the NHS, and the thing is, I didn't clock, but they came out of pharmacy, so that's why they had an NHS badge on. And he was like let out to talk to anyone, so she was like, hello. He was like, hi, da. And like they're being friendly. Next thing I'm thinking, what if the NHS bag is fake and this is just a way to like alert people in? I'm thinking like, Paida, why are you thinking this? Like, the guy literally came out the pharmacy, okay? And the thing is, I didn't realise that until later on, like, then I saw him again and he went back into the pharmacy. But like, at that time I was thinking, where does this man work that he has the NHS bag with him? Because there's no GP here on this road, so it was a pharmacy. So yeah. Maybe I'm a bit extreme, but you do end up being a bit more protective of your spaces and wary about like what's going on around you. So yeah, anyway, the things that we're going to talk about in this series are talk about mommy guilt, life changes, small life changes that you have to go on, worrying about with just a lot of things in this series. So yeah, mommy guilt will definitely be the next one. We're going to talk about helpful languages to use. We're going to talk about being a single mom and co-parenting. Yeah, just a lot of things. So if you guys have liked this video today, I hope you have. Like, subscribe. I do other things on my channel too, but this is a new thing I'm starting. I just thought it was really nice like to just talk to you guys, because I think sometimes some people aren't really honest about like their life, and I think it's nice to like talk about things, because I think sometimes people like actually relate to that, and they're like, oh, okay, so this happens to other people's lives too. Because I find sometimes with myself, I'm like, oh my god, I'm the only one who thinks this way, and then I see something and I'm like, oh, okay, that person does it too. So it's all about things like that, how we manage around the house, life, like a day. I'll be doing like daily routines kind of things. So yeah, the motherhood series, the motherhood diaries, I don't know what we're gonna call it. Motherhood diaries, motherhood series, motherhood diaries. I think motherhood diaries is lovely. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish my look and then I'm gonna come to you guys so you can see the final look. Okay guys, so yes, I've dressed up now so you guys can see the look. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.